Yo, what's up? It's Beartick here. It's been a while. Um, I actually kind of want to say this is actually a fresh take on this. I actually did record a version of this video, but it was like 56 minutes. And I don't know if anyone really wanted to sit through 56 minutes, even as background noise. So I'm going to try to make this one a little bit more condensed. Trim some of the fat that I had in the previous one, but still go over the things I think y'all would probably be interested in. Anyway, before anybody asks, yes, this gameplay from on Rivals is like from over a month and a half ago, so this is super outdated gameplay. Like, there's been like 2 patches since this gameplay was done, so so if you see any crazy things that in this video that you haven't seen in the current patch, it's probably literally because it's not in the current patch. This is literally a month and a half outdated. Anyway, let's talk about 2024 for me. I would say that 2024 was a lot better than 2023 and 2022 for various reasons. I will say that, one of the few things that I can say that I think I did better on this year, at least until the very, very end, is not procrastinating as hard. I typically did get stuff done as see fit, but admittedly I also kind of fell back into it near the end of this year. Specifically, like, the last 2 months. Granted, this is always, like, my period of just kind of, like, clocking out of the year early. Like, I always clock out of the year, like, a lot earlier than most. I'm just more... I'm more just ready to move on. And just... Because I do actually, for the first time, have, like, real goals for myself for this coming year. And I kind of want to just get to starting them. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's talk about a bit of 2024. I'd say some highlights, specifically, probably were like, let's think, because I think I want to just dive in on 3, and then we'll talk about other stuff as see fit. Let's start with the D&D campaign, which was started at the beginning of this year, I believe. Back in, like, spring or something, I don't know. Long story short, I am into D&D now. Granted, I'm not one of those people that will try to, like, D&D with, like, random people or whatever, but I do really enjoy it with the close homies of mine. The way this started was my buddy wanted a one-shot for his birthday, and he wanted all of us to do it, which included me. So, of course, me being me in my head, I'm just like, oh boy. Because now I'm going to feel bad if I don't end up liking this. Because this is like his birthday present of sorts. And that was my mindset originally. But the day came, and since this was like a one-shot, it was also like super long. Like, this was like a 6-hour session or something like that. To put it in retrospect of current sessions, our current sessions are usually no longer than like 3 hours. Like, it's usually 3 hours, maybe a little bit longer, depending on what we're doing. But it is never like it's not longer than that. The one shot was 6+ hours, I think. So I had to not only be down there early, I had to basically get my house situated for the day. Because if y'all know, I'm basically the caregiver of this house now. It's the same house I've always lived in. Like, if you know me from back in the day, if you've seen my, like, basement on, like, stream, right? Like, this is the same exact house. The only difference now is, not going into too much detail so we don't derail too hard, but basically, I became a full-fledged adult the last, like, 3 years, and, yeah, I'll talk more about that later, but back to the D&D part. I had to get that all situated. So I managed to do it, obviously. So the day comes, and okay, I'm just like, okay, well, I don't know how I'm gonna approach this because I've never really been into the whole thing. But I was like, you know what, I'll give this an honest shot, and if I like it, you know, that'll be great. So we do the one shot. Long story short, it didn't feel like 6 hours. It felt more like the time that it is currently in our sessions, which was 3 hours, possibly less. The reason for that is because I was having a blast with it. Granted, I'm not like super hard in like the roleplay and all that. I like something I've realized throughout the D&D sessions is I kind of like it just for the story itself that the DM like gives, right? Like I've become pretty immersed. Well, is immersed the right word? Maybe immersed is the right word, because usually I can't like I kind of well. There's two things I live for in these sessions for this campaign that's going on. Mostly the story and also the combat. Those are like the two important things. So, but I have been trying to play more of like a role of my character recently. I wouldn't say I'm like amazing at it, but it is fun. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm just kind of going with like vibes and whatever. And whatever happens, happens. Thankfully, this has been a crazy campaign. As you probably know by a lot of my live tweets, I think I've live tweeted parts of every session that has had some form of combat in it. I think there's only like one session so far that had either very little combat to where I didn't actually get the live tweet, or there was like none at all. So, yeah. As you can, and obviously I wouldn't do something like that if I wasn't having fun with the campaign, so that's how you can, sometimes there are subtle things that well, not even subtle, this isn't even subtle, like if you follow me on Twitter, you have probably seen them. But there are things I do online that kind of give away how I feel about certain things, and I think the live tweeting for the campaigns is probably the easiest way to tell without talking to me about it that yes, I do enjoy the campaign. So yeah, so shoutouts to my homie. You know who you are. Thank you very much for starting this, because truthfully I don't know it. I was worried at first because I was gonna feel really bad if I didn't like it, but I'm glad that I actually took a shot and actually just like, you know, dove on in, and it'll be a very bittersweet time when the campaign ends. I will say that much. That said, I think a majority of this year will be spent on it. I don't know, or at least half of this year. And even then, it's gonna be pretty bittersweet when it ends. Like, it'll be something. But yes, thank you very much. I don't know what's gonna happen after this campaign, truthfully. But even if I don't get back into a campaign or whatever right away, I will say that this campaign, I will like remember. Like, I will remember dearly, truthfully. But yeah, I think that's the first thing. I guess to add on, it also kind of like boosted my, I guess, social skills a bit. I've never been good socially, y'all know this. It's been a thing that I've been trying to work on, and I've slowly gotten better. But yeah, it's pretty nice. What was the second thing? So D&D campaign aside, let's talk about the second thing I want to talk about, and that's TwitchCon, for this year. As y'all remember, I posted about it. TwitchCon is crazy. TwitchCon was crazy. I think this was like the first year that we actually like committed to going to it instead of doing like kind of like a 1 hour to 2 hour thing. Like, no, we actually committed to go to it. Committed to going to it. So we actually had like saved most of the day for it, and it was very much worth. Because I think this trip specifically was like the most fun I've had at TwitchCon so far. We got to do a lot of things. ironically, I didn't meet any like uh big like streamers that I know like I did with like Shofu like a couple years ago. But but I think the overall experience was a lot more fun than that uh year that I went. Cause usually I think that year that I took a selfie with Shofu was like that was probably like the peak of it. Honestly, like we didn't have much time to do much else because we didn't really commit too much to it like we did this time. But all that aside, we did a lot. We did the pictures at the it was like this Monster Hunter thing. I forgot what it was called because I'm not like a I'm not super into Monster Hunter, even though I have buddies that try to relentlessly get me into it. Um, but it was a fun little selfie. I think one of the buddies that I did it with. I love him saying my buddies when I really could just say their names and not give a damn because I have literally said their names so many times on stream. So I guess we'll narrate this little story. It was me, Dark Owl, and Drax. Not their real names, but you know their online tags. So yeah, because some of y'all probably don't actually know their names, especially y'all on my YouTube that. I barely upload on here as is, so. But yeah, those are three of my homies. We did the little Monster Hunter selfie thing. We did a few other things as well. It was just vibes. Like, it was, if I were to really, like, I'd have to, like, think about it. And, like, go back. Because it's been a bit. But it was really just vibes. Like, I liked it. And we did a lot. Like, it wasn't even just, like TwitchCon. Like we actually set apart like days to do stuff at in Cali. Like we even went to the beach, which I was not prepared for, by the way. So yeah, soaky jeans and sandy sandals on the flight back. That was fun. Well, I say this as if I was wearing them on the flight. No, they're just in my suitcase, wet and sandy. I changed clothes, obviously, but yeah. When I got back, I basically had to immediately put them in the washer, though. That aside, though, the TwitchCon trip was very nice. I wish I could tell more about it because I've kind of like forgotten about some of the stuff. I just know that the trip as a whole was like amazing. Like the plane rides were fine. Wow. I'll be honest. Let's talk about the plane rides because specifically the like longer flights, I need to figure out how to be comfortable on those. I don't know, maybe it's just because of how tight the area is and the fact that there are people around me, but I really can't doze off fully. Usually what I do is and this is actually part of the reason I will admit that I have bought YouTube Premium. I have a subscription for it. Yes, you can sue me now. Part of the reason was because, the whole thing with, like, the whole ad blockers not working anymore, I don't know if that actually ended up being a thing, but the major reason that I got it is because I needed things to watch / listen to while I was on the plane. I did a lot better this year because I not only, well, for one, this is the year I started using Spotify, so I use Spotify's like download offline feature to download all the songs on like all the playlists. Actually, was it on both playlists or was it just on one? It might have just been on one because the playlist was well over the time of the actual flights. Like I was never running out of songs, so I think I just did it for one, so I could listen to them offline. And then I downloaded some YouTube videos with YouTube Premium, and I watched those. Most of them were just like crime-related stuff. This is another thing I've picked up on this year and maybe this is just a sign of me getting old, but I enjoy crime documentaries. I don't know if anybody knows of EWU, Explore With Us. Specifically the Crime Storytime and the Bodycam videos that I watch when I'm bored sometimes. Usually if I'm eating something, I'll watch something like that. I don't watch any other crime channels right now. I like EWU. Mostly because EWU has like exclusive interviews that they conducted with said victims slash suspects or whatever. Alongside what's the word? Just having footage that we didn't see on the media itself, stuff like that. Like, it's nothing crazy, but like to someone who knows me a lot, you know that usually my content, consumed online is usually gaming related. So I just find it kind of funny that I finally have something that's not gaming related that I actually actively watch. It's kind of funny actually, but yeah, I just loaded those. Unfortunately, the only thing now is I need to figure out how I can bring something comfortable so I can actually lay down. I will need to figure it out because one of the things I want to touch base on is August of this year, which is Evo week, and we are planning to go there. So I need to figure it out because we're going to Las Vegas, if I recall correctly. I believe it's Las Vegas. Either way, it's going to be like a 3-4 hour flight, so I need to figure out immediately how I'm going to make that comfortable so I'm not like flipping spazzing for 3 hours. But yeah, TwitchCon was a blast, stuff like that. It was a very, very fun, like, and honestly, I think one of these years we go to TwitchCon, I think I am going to commit to going to the after party. Part of the reason I don't go to like after parties and stuff is that I'm not too keen of just meeting random people at a party, but and to be fair, I'd probably be more likely to do it if I had like, I don't know, say it was like I don't know, one of the communities I interact with a lot is Pokemon Unite's community. It's not like the whole community now, because the community as of recent, the whole community is kind of like it's gone downhill, but there's still some pretty good people that I talk to or interact with. Say it was like an after party with people like those, I'd probably go. Like, I'd be more willing to go. But like just a random like Twitch after party, I don't think at all. I don't know. I'm just not like a super like socially active person like that. So, but that's my goal. One is I don't know if it's not gonna be this year, obviously, because we're not going to TwitchCon this year. We're going to Evo, and that's going to probably cost even more money. So, and money doesn't grow on trees, so we can't go to both. So that's kind of how that goes. So moving on from TwitchCon, we'll talk about Evo a little bit later. Third thing, and this is probably my favorite thing of the year, ironically, is my birthday. If y'all remember, at the beginning of this video, or just in general, the last 2 years have been really tough on me mentally. And actually, I would want to say physically too, because I don't feel like I have really attempted to work out at all. I mean, I attempted to work out a couple times throughout the 2 years, but I always just stopped doing them after like a week or two. Like, and I actually want to talk about goals, and that's one thing I want to talk about goals wise later in the video. But it was really bad on me mentally. Like, a lot of things happened. I'm not gonna go over them. It was already kind of painful reiterating them once, way back. So I probably am just not gonna talk. I'm not gonna go into too much detail about that. But I will say, you know, the health conditions of my mom and my grandpa. That's the one thing I'm comfortable with talking about. Like, as you know, my mom had her foot, one of her feet amputated due to Uh, it was a diabetic type infection. Like, it was just like rot or whatever. And it was one of those like wake up calls. Cause in not to mention, uh, my grandpa already was like he has a dementia, and it's like ongoing, obviously. So it's like a progressing disease with him. So it's like I've basically, like I said earlier, I've become like the kind of like the caregiver of the entire house. So this makes things very awkward because it made me also realize that when my grandma was alive, almost half a decade ago, um, she was pretty much the care. I would argue she was the caretaker of the house. Like, she cooked, she cleaned, um, she drove my grandpa to appointments and stuff that he had to go to. Um, uh, yeah, like there's a lot of things. Like, she did a lot, and I realized part of me was like, I would say, you know what? I'm gonna move this topic until uh after this topic, because I do want to talk. Well, actually, no. We'll just continue at this point, because at this point I've kind of just started. So we'll move the birthday part a little later. But like I said, she was kind of like, the head of the house, I would say. Like, she did everything, and I really realized, and I actually talked to my mom about this recently, that to a degree I feel like I have been spoiled and sheltered. Well, I didn't say sheltered. Sheltered is something I have kind of realized that maybe I have been. Um, I feel like I've kind of been sheltered. Uh, just growing up, like, I've been at this house for over 20 years now, and truthfully, I never really had to fend for myself up until about 2022. Like, even when I had my job at like Walmart from like 2020 to like 2021, I didn't have really anything to do, right? Like, I was just going to work, I was saving up money, right? I didn't have bills to pay or anything like that. But after the whole thing with my mom's amputation, my grandpa's worsening mental health from dementia, I realized that I was just thrown in a world of chaos, basically, to like, to a degree, I had to fend for myself and take care of them. I had to start paying some bills, which, I'm gonna be real, it's a little hard with my current pay, and it kind of sucks because I basically can't really get a job right now, for some, obvious reasons, right? I could go but I'll talk a little bit more about that later, because I do have a kind of plan in action, but, yeah. So between that, various other BS that happened, and the fact that, I was just kind of thrown into the adult world in my mid-20s after basically being sheltered and spoiled to a degree, it was really bad on my mental state. Like, I will fully admit that it was really bad. So, 2022 was probably the worst year of my life, because that's when all this started. And it also happened close to my birthday. So, my birthday was not spent really happy. It was relatively, it was relatively depressing. Like, I wasn't, well, maybe I should just be honest and say I was kind of depressed. Like, I think I remember streaming for it, but definitely didn't have the same energy that I usually would for like a birthday stream. And it was partially because of what was going on. Not to mention there's a lot of BS that happened as well that year, that it was really nasty. Like, it was one of those like wake up calls into reality, and it hit really hard, and it really sucked. I would say even now I'm still like, I'd say I'm like way better, but But I do have moments where I kind of think about those 2 years specifically, because I always think like, what could like I could have like I could, maybe if I was more like responsible like I am now, maybe I could have prevented a lot of this from happening. Yada yada yada. Like I do have a lot of like I've had regrets the last couple of years, not even just about my family really, also about myself. Like I feel like I've wasted a lot of my life just not knowing what to really do. And I think that's what people mean, like, when they say if you're sheltered, you don't really get the full picture, and when it hits like a truck. Like, it was bad. Like, I will fully admit. Part of me thinks maybe if I had a sibling, um, a lot of the flaws I feel like I have wouldn't exist. Um, and there is reasons why I say that, but I'm not gonna go into it. I've already kind of maybe I've feel like maybe I've already spoiled the mood a little bit. So but you know, the reason I decided to actually stick onto this topic is because this year specifically, my mental state has been a lot better. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but TwitchCon and my birthday both gave me a lot of mental positivity that I really, really needed. My birthday specifically this year, we went out to a bar and all that, but it wasn't just like the normal, like, I just hang with like a few buddies or I like stream, right? I had like a whole group of people that came to this, and we just like vibed at a bar. Obviously, I definitely was, I was definitely drunk. I did some interesting things, but it was a blast. Like that experience was, maybe it sounds really cheesy, but that's an experience I kind of longed for, right? Just like getting drunk at a bar within reason. I should say I am not like trying to get like blackout drunk. No, like just chilling with the homies, just at a bar with homies, just having a blast. Like these are the type of stories that if I like told people in high school, because you know, flipping illegal drinking, you know high schoolers love doing that. I would get like praise and shit, like just stuff like that, like just hang, like literally, like just like it was such a boost to my social battery. Like I loved every minute of it, and it actually kind of freed my mind from all the like the really sad things that I kind of thought about over the last few years. Especially because even though 2023 my birthday was way better, it wasn't that amazing either. Like I just kind of, I think I just streamed, but it wasn't like anything interesting. So like, it was definitely like this, like the bar experience was definitely like something I needed. Like, and I thank everybody that came out to there, because truthfully I do want to do this again. Like, and I wouldn't even say like it has to be on my birthday. I just want to do it at some point. Just a group of people just hanging at a bar and just chilling for a while. Like it doesn't even have to be just on my birthday. Like I just like hanging with homies. Like I never was the type of person to socialize in high school. So like maybe it's kind of weird now that it like this feels so great to me, but like it was never something I cared about in high school, because in high school I didn't like people. Like, quite literally, the only people I talked to were, like, close friends of mine from back then, but, like, even then it was just, like, I really wouldn't talk until talking to, right? Or something like that. Like, I just didn't like people. And people always asked why I was so quiet, and, I mean, I didn't say anything, but I feel like if I were to let my true thoughts loose at that time, I think, I don't know, I might have gotten into beef with some people. I don't know, because some people were like, I don't know, like, you know how people are in high school, like their like egos are like very fragile. So like if they think you're like if they think you're being assaulting, they might try to like pick a fight or whatever. Like that's all I'll say about that, because I definitely did have my thoughts, and I mean I talked to like some of my other friends had like thoughts like that as well. Like we just kind of kept it to ourselves. But yeah, it was so good. Like my birthday was probably my favorite part of this year, and it made me realize, like, you know, life really is like it's not all just bad, right? Like, it is genuinely like there's good to it, right? So, with that being said, I guess now that we've talked about that, I guess so. Those are my like three big things about 2024. So, I don't know how long this video is gonna be. I thought it was gonna be less, but I'm already 30 minutes in, so it might be as long as the other take. But I think I like this take better because I'm a little bit more organized. I was like tired when I did the last one, so I was like yapping, like it was pretty bad. But anyway, so what do I want to accomplish in 2025? Because obviously, I'm making this video, I'm talking about my year in summary, or some 3 like highlights of my year in summary. What? So you're probably wondering, what do I want to accomplish for this year? Let's start with a couple of goals for myself. I want to start being more proactive doing things, and to tie into this, I want to actually start working out again, but I also want to make sure I don't stop doing it this time. Whether that means I need to like force myself to do it to get into like a habit or what. There are some other things, and the forcing, and I'm not gonna go into detail, but the forcing myself to do things is probably a thing that can apply to a lot of things that I need to work on. And I will say, oh shoot, just the whole doing things, what was it? Oh yeah, forcing myself to do things. Not just like working out. There's just other things. I'm not gonna go into detail, but I need to like work on. And I want to make sure I commit to actually doing it. So that's one thing I want to do. I think another thing I want to work on, again, improving my like social skills. I guess like that's a more minor thing, honestly. At this point, like I'm more this year. I'm more like trying to commit to like actually like truly enjoy, like finding what I like doing. I did that partially for 2024, but I kind of like stopped after like summertime. So I want to resume that, and also I kind of want to work on the whole social aspect. I'm still not where I would say I want to be socially for a lot of reasons. Again, there are some things that I will not go into detail because I would low-key kind of feel I'd feel a little awkward talking about it, but I want to work on just social, like just my social life as a whole, really. Then the biggest thing. So I think this is like the biggest thing. Well, actually, 2 things. So the next thing, properly saving money. As you know, I had to start paying bills the last couple of years, in addition to stuff like repairs for cars and stuff. So with my current payment, or my current pay raise, I pretty much have to budget everything I decided to do. And I've had to actually like cut some like Twitch subscriptions. I've had to cut some like a lot of subscriptions have to be cut, right? And not only that, I have to like watch how I spend money. I am an impulse buyer, but for a reason. Well, how do I say this? Well, I'll just say I'm an impulse buyer. Like, I definitely do tend to buy things without actually like thinking about it. And sometimes I do not get my bang for my buck, and I end up wasting a lot of money. I've gotten a lot better at this the last like 3 months, I'll be honest. Like the very end of 2024. Basically after the whole TwitchCon trip, since I had to like save money and also do bills, I pretty much had to work on like budgeting. I'm getting better at it. I'm still like I'm still like flubbing sometimes, but I'm learning how to effectively use my money um from paycheck to paycheck, so that I'm not going negative every time I get paid, basically. And it's starting to become noticeable. Like I am like it is like I'm it's very little, but it is helping. Like it is, and the more I do this, the more I'll save overall. So that's the good thing. Um, so budgeting stuff like that, input like stopping impulse buys, making sure that if I am actually buying something, that I actually, you know, get my bang for my buck, stuff like that. So let's see, social battery, budgeting, just uh, finding what I enjoy. This year was a lot of experimentation, admittedly. Because this is the year I also, like, got out of my gaming slump. If you remember, I didn't really play anything, and since I had quit Smash Ultimate outside of, like, convention tournaments at this point, I quite literally just... I just stopped gaming. Like, gaming was not fun. Like, I didn't play any of the stuff I used to play. I stopped playing VGC. VGC specifically, I've pretty much realized that I think it's gonna be a spectator sport for me for a while. Especially this coming year, since Regulation G is the regulation. I don't want to play that. I don't think that format's good. And I really only played it because we had Indie VGC regionals and I wanted to meet up with some people. But I will say, if I do go to another regional, I want to actually take advantage of it. And that means like going to hang out with people. Like something I don't do. I've met a couple people multiple times throughout like regionals and stuff like that. For example, Moxie Boosted. I met him, and it's funny because I met him for the first time like 2 years ago, after knowing him online for like 8 years. And well, was it 8? Because I met him during Gen 6 when I did the multi battles, so it might have actually been about 8 years ago. But what's the word? Oh yeah. And I met him for the first time like 2 years ago, and I've talked to I've met up with him in person like 3 times over the course of these 2 years. Not once have I really like he's even said that I can hang with him, but I always feel bad because it's like I always have to like leave or whatever, and I don't get to actually like hang, and I always feel bad because it's like bro's literally inviting me to hang. Maybe not like a direct invitation, but he's saying like, hey, if you want to hang, we'll be here, and yada yada yada. And I always feel bad because it's like I never get the chance. So next time I go to a VGC regional, I think I am going to, at least if he's there, I will try to like, it might feel awkward at first because I am definitely going out of my comfort zone doing this, but I think I will actually try to like hang with people. If they go to like a bar or something, I will definitely try to hang with them. I just pray I don't make it too awkward. And I doubt Moxie is watching this, but if you are, well, there you go. So yeah, the whole yeah, that kind of ties into the whole social, like I want to be better socially and stuff like that. Budgeting, working on myself, like physically and mentally, figuring out what I want to do. I feel like I'm getting closer, but I still haven't like I think I finally have realized that I do want a job that's based around computers to some degree. I don't know what it is yet. At least for the short term, for like a better paying job. And then maybe when I can maybe afford to like, maybe I can get the skills to do something more like maybe close to like video games or whatever. I don't know, but that's kind of those are some things I'm kind of looking into. Now, part of me, and then the last thing, at least in regards to me, is that I am actually doing this has the potential to be a long-term project. I'm trying to clean my basement, and I don't mean like just like vacuum the carpet or just like take the trash out. I mean like I kind of want to remodel the, well, not even remodel. There are a lot of like bins down here. There's a lot of old stuff down here from like decades ago that I have quite literally not like have, they're just old stuff. Some of it's even from like my deceased grandma too. So it's like there's just a lot of clutter down here, and I don't, and people always ask me why I don't have a PC or anything like that. Part of the reason is because there's no room to put it down here right now. Like, I am not in a situation to where I can literally say I feel safe putting a tower down here and a table of some type, and like, you know, making this my like PC area. But I'm trying to change that. Throughout this year, I'm going to be cleaning up sections of this house down here in the basement. I'm already using a junk service to clean out my mom's room. So, and we're going to be doing that as well. So, since I'm already cleaning out a big room down here, I might as well clean out, you know, the area that I'm actually just in 90% of my day, right? Like, my mom's room, nobody's using it, right? And for good reason. Like, well, obviously she can't get down here right now. That and there's some other underlying issues that mostly it's because of how old this house is, but without going into too much detail, yeah, we've been cleaning up her room down here, or rather, I've been bringing up stuff that she can look at and tell me if she wants to get rid of or not. But yeah, so I'm just like, well, if I'm cleaning up one room down here, I might as well just start cleaning up like the whole just the whole basement. And I think once I do, whenever that gets finished, I think I can probably just commit to getting a PC. Because I think the reality of it is, I'm going to be living with my parents, or my mom and grandpa for much longer than I anticipated. I think with everything that has happened, I think the whole idea of me moving out like I had said I wanted to do back in like 2021 and 2020 is no longer a feasible option for the time being. So I think but if I am gonna stay here, one, I need to make myself useful around here, more useful, I should say, because something I've been told is that I need to treat this more as if this was my own house, right? Like, and I'm not gonna go into too much detail. If you have parents are like, you know, guardians that have told you like you need to treat this house as if you owned it or whatever, right? Like stuff like that. Like, basically, at this point, I am trying to truly make this house my own, because, to be honest, there is a very real possibility that there might just be 2 people living in this house sometime in the next few years. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to move out right away, so I need to make sure that I make this place truly what I want to be. And right now, it is definitely not what I want it to be. I can't even do half the stuff I want to do down here right now. So, that is one of my probably like long-term goals of the year, is just fix the basement, basically. And reorganize the basement. So that's my big thing. And now a shared goal between me, my mom, and I guess to my grandpa to a degree. We all of us work on our health. And by work on our health, I mean like take it seriously. I think something that I realized at the end of this year is that I don't want to say my health. I don't want to say we don't take health seriously. I think the better thing to say is that we don't take it as seriously as we should. And I think this is what led to a lot of the problems that happened these last couple of years. And I hate saying that because I do kind of feel bad every time I talk about it, because it makes me kind of feel like, it was my fault that a lot of this stuff happened. But I also realize that it is the truth. Like, health was not taken as seriously as it should have been in this house, so we are making sure that we not only focus on it, but we like make it a priority now. Me specifically, since I'm like the caregiver, I need to make sure my mental health and stamina and like physical health and stamina is like up there. Cause I'll be honest, 2022 it was so bad that I probably I don't know. It was just really bad. That I might have been hindering the house even more with how I acted with towards certain things at that point. So moving on from that though, yeah, take health way more seriously. For me, that pretty much means getting back into like actually working out. Maybe trying to find new things to eat and stuff like that. Because I wouldn't say I'm like the healthiest eater. I wouldn't say I'm like a bad eater either. Like, I'll eat veggies and fruits and stuff, but probably not as often as I probably should. And I guess kind of like this is a small little segue. I also want to cook a little bit more. Most people my age, like either cook for themselves or cook for like their family and stuff. I don't really cook that often, I would say. I know how to cook like breakfast stuff, but outside of that, I'm kind of just like a fish out of water. I mean, I can cook like bacon and stuff, but like I mean like actual dishes and stuff like that. So something I might want to do maybe after I have completed my goal with like basement organization and I guess remodeling is maybe like just cook a little bit more. I've learned some things watching my mom cook. So I might try doing some of that on my own first, kind of just like, dip my feet in the water. And then after that, yeah, we just kind of go from there. And then, and back to health-wise, getting my mom into therapy, like for real this time. Making sure she is on top of her game with her health, so that any damage from before that doesn't, like, we just don't have a repeat situation of what happened a couple of years ago, basically. And then keeping my grandpa in check, making sure everything is going well for him. I do understand that due to my grandpa's deteriorating mental state, there is a high probability that I'm going to need to figure out a plan of action for when I go to Evo later this year, or this coming year, because I don't know if I can leave them both just here on their own again for another 3 days, right? Like, because I feel like with every trip, we figure out how to do things more, but it's also like, there is a high probability that something could go wrong when I'm not here. And if something goes wrong, that's just the end of it. And I had a few moments with my mom this year that happened, and I would say that if I was not here, we would be in a world of trouble. That is all I'm gonna say. And, like, if I was not here during the times those things happened, there would have been a lot of problems. It was especially bad. Like, honestly, like, basically, if I feel like I'm not here doing caregiving, it becomes, like, it feels like it's not sustainable here. Like, I don't want to say they can't survive without me here, because that sounds like egotistical, but it really feels like any one thing could go wrong, and something bad could happen to them. That's kind of what I mean. And I always tell my mom this as well. And while, like, and I think she understands it too, because she wants to, like, become independent again, right? So she can actually help around the house and stuff. I will say though, since my journey into, like, true adulthood not just being like over the age of 21. I will say that even once my mom becomes independent, I'm not gonna stop helping her out, right? And I think this is one thing, and maybe this is one good thing that happened out of this whole situation, is that it was a wake up call to me, and maybe it was a very bad maybe it was like it sucked for my mental type of wake up call, but it made me realize that I really didn't like pull my weight as much as I should, and I think I really was like sheltered. So I want to return the favor. I mean, I've been doing that, but I want to do it even after, right? Like, and this is like a long-term thing. At least until I move out of here, I want to make sure I'm like at peak performance, helping out around the house. This also means that I also, during the summer, might start taking up things like yard work and stuff like that, right? Usually we have my uncle come, because my grandpa's not really in any shape to like, he can do things like pick up sticks and stuff, but like actual yard work now, he can't really do anymore. And admittedly, that's another thing. I never really had to do yard work because my grandpa would do it, but you know, he's gotten older and he can't really do it anymore. And usually we pay our uncle to do it, but I think it's also time for me to start managing the yard myself a bit. So something I might do, I might try to save up money to get hire somebody to do some of the yard work, at least initially, and then after they do the job, I start maintaining the yard on my own. That's what I'm thinking of doing. There's somebody that has been, I don't want to say begging to do our yard for like a discounted price, but they've come twice this year, once in the spring and once again like just a couple days ago, and I always feel bad because my grandpa's in a state that he can't really make very good financial decisions, or he'll make a decision and then forget it. So I think saving my money and budgeting enough to where I can actually just like kind of just pay for it for myself instead of just, you know, using his checks or whatever. I think at this point it's like I definitely need to like step up on that regard too. So I guess that's another goal. But yeah, I think that's all my goals. Is that all my goals? Social battery, taking my health more seriously, trying to make this house my own, yeah. I guess also getting my mom back on her feet. We have slacked way too long with this, and I actually got her in to see a podiatrist this year, and yeah, it's we went to see her the other day, and my mom's having trouble lifting her feet, right? Sometimes, and the podiatrist said it's possibly because her muscles have gotten weak, because before, whenever she could get into the bed on her own, so, but now sometimes, or a lot of times, she needs my help to get her legs into the bed. And that's when I also realized that we can't delay her doing physical therapy anymore. Like, we need to get her in. Like, it might not even just be like learning how to use a prosthetic. It might actually just be getting her back in shape, because it's pretty clear she might be out of shape at this point. So that's another thing I want to work on. Basically getting her back in the order. It's gonna be a lot, I'll admit. Like, it's going to be, in regards to what I want to do and get done, it's going to be a long year. But I also think that if I can at least get a lot of this, if I can get the main things done, I think this year is going to be one of the best so far. And I really hope that's the case, because I think my life is finally going to move forward smoothly once I get all this done. So just one more year of grinding. I guess any final thoughts? I guess any final thoughts I could say. Um, so this is completely unrelated, but some of you are probably wondering my status on like certain games as well. I'm not gonna talk about it too much because it's already. I'm going to exceed my previous takes video, and I only have like 10 minutes of footage left, so I'm not gonna. I'm not going to go too much into this, but let's see. VGC. I'm not participating in Regulation G. I know I talked about that earlier with like the whole social thing. But yeah, I don't like restricted formats, and I realized Pokemon tournaments require me to actually like learn how to play the game. Well, and personally, I don't commit enough. I don't commit enough to Pokemon right now to do that, so I will not be playing Regulation G at all. Unless something comes up to where people want me to play or something like that, or some regional comes up where I can like hang with friends or something. But I'm gonna be backseat spectator for this one, and I don't mean like I'm gonna play it and test a team and then like stop playing it after like a week. No, I mean like it's gonna be like how I went on hiatus for Unite, basically. Like I'm just not gonna play it at all. Oh, speaking of Unite, I'm slowly getting back into it, but stream wise, it's not gonna be, for one, it's not gonna be my main game on stream anymore. Secondly, I'm not gonna stream every session, this time. And thirdly, I'm not gonna be playing the game daily and only playing Unite anymore. I'm no longer doing that. And if I am not having fun with the game, I am getting off. Like, I already had a time where I've done that recently, and I didn't stream it so nobody knows, but I literally lost 3 games in a row and I got off the game. Because I just have better things to do now. Gaming wise, I have Rivals of Aether 2, which admittedly I have not played much recently, I just haven't felt like playing it. Edalus does come out next month, or, well, this coming month. So I'll probably play it a lot more then, but I'm probably playing sparingly or whenever people ask me to play for the time being. It's not because of any like patches or anything, but I think the honeymoon phase of the game is over, so it's kind of just like settled as like a, you know, it's settled as like a game I'll play, but it's not like super active right now. It probably doesn't help that the local I went to for Rivals, which was the local I used to go to at my college for Smash, I now only go to for Rivals, but, you know, it's gotten me to go back to the locals. I wasn't going to it before, so I'm happy about that. Like, I get to see the people I hung with Smash and stuff again. Even if I'm not playing Smash Ultimate, I get to watch them play and I get to hang with them a little, so it's nice. I will, but yeah, Rivals, like, probably play a lot more Rivals when Locals comes back, and Edalus drops. Smash, like I said, I've fully retired it, outside of quite literally convention tournaments held by a really good group of homies of mine. I quite literally will not be, I've committed to just not playing Smash anymore, outside of those convention tournaments, so, if you want me to go back to Smash, sorry, probably not likely to happen. I might play it occasionally IRL, like at Hangouts or whatever, but, like, for the most part, it's mostly gonna be Rivals. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! I've actually kind of gotten back into. I'm not going to talk too much about it. If you want to know more about it, I can talk about that in a different video. Yeah. Mostly just online because of, like, new support and stuff. I just realized I have 5 minutes left. Yeah. It's time to wrap it up. But yeah. So, my games right now probably be Unite as, like, a game that I'll play until I not have fun with it, and then I'll just pivot to like Rivals or just I've been more content with just vibing. Like, I don't have to play a game. So, yeah. Rivals, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Unite, and VGC is like a spectator type of thing. So, probably more to come. I'm gonna end this video now because it's been like an hour. So, yeah. I'll see y'all later. I hope you enjoyed the background noise, and peace out. Bye-bye.